So we're returned to this Vauxhall Mokka. Basically, nobody really wanted to do the water pump, so we're going to do it. We don't mind. It looks not too bad. So we'll crack on with it. So the first thing we've done really is remove the air filter box. And that's our water pump down there. You can see it's been leaking. So we're going to get the engine jacked up, get the engine mount off, so we can jack it up and get further access into the bolts and the alternator belt itself, loosen that off. We also are doing a thermostat, which you should have seen on that video that I put up. The heater element inside the thermostat is at fault, so we are going to be replacing that as well while we're here, filling it up with fresh coolant. Right now there's very little coolant in the system because it's been obviously leaking out. So we've jacked up the engine. So just need to remove the 3 engine mount bolts. You've got 3 nuts. And that's that removed. Hopefully you can get these all right. They are a bit tight. So that's one removed. So we just need to do the rest of them. That one's cracked off. We'll just crack the rest of them and get back to these once that pulley's off. So you can see we've got the pulley off. What I ended up doing was just every now and then loosening the tension of the belt and returning the pulley until we could get access, because obviously these aircon pipes are in the way. So you can see most of the extent of the leak there. And all we need is the Torx, I think it's E10, but I'm going to be using an 8mm to get them out. And it should be fairly simple. Once that pulls out, give everything a clean. We're obviously going to have some coolant spilling, can't be helped, but a fairly easy job. The actual thermostat housing doesn't look too bad as well, but yeah, we'll get that done. You can see all our water pump bolts are out, and we're just looking at the new pump. It's FAI. Apparently it's meant to be a decent brand, so we'll go with that. So there's a new pump there, and for the looks of it, our water pump's leaking for the actual seal in one of these core plugs. So obviously it's got the rubber o-ring or the rubber seal, so you don't want to be putting sealant on that. Hopefully when I take it off there isn't any sealant on it for a previous repair, but everything looks more or less genuine on this. It's got low miles, so this has probably been the first pump that's been getting done on this car. So you can see we've cleaned up the surface. We're just going to place the new water pump in. Obviously there's some marks on there that you'll not get completely off. So you just do your best to clean it as much as you can. So let's get all these bolts torqued down, and we'll get the belt nut back on, the pulley, the belt, get the engine mount back on, and we'll crack on with the thermostat housing itself. Let's do it. So we're all buttoned up. You can see down there we've got all them torqued up, all the bolts are all marked in case any mishaps in the future. So what we need to do is do the thermostat housing now. Fairly simple job. Probably the hardest part of it is just going to be the hoses, but you've got 4 bolts. Put the new unit in, we'll start the car up, lead the system, clear the fault codes, and we'll be good to go. So we've got the new thermostat housing off. We're just going to get it bolted to the engine. Fairly simple job, not really worth filming. So I'll get all this bolted back up. So the car's looking good. We've filled up the coolant, blade the system, the heating in the car's working perfect. There is not any leaks at all in this cooling system now. So we just plugged in the top down quickly, just to read the fault codes. and there's no fault codes in the engine ECU. So we're going to do a health scan and see what the TPMS light is on for. But apart from that, we will see you at the Golf R. Well, we're back with a good one today. We've got this Maserati Ghibli. Now there's a story with this. So this car was in at the dealership. Dealership could not find a fault with it. To cut a long story short, we've not got any communication with the ABS pump. So it was basically off the road for about a year. I think that's what the customer said. So he got it sent back to his home address, and he's phoned us out because we've done a Maserati Ghibli for parking sensor faults, and these cars are quite, you don't really get to work on them a lot. So we're by no means any experts on Maseratis, but what we've managed to pinpoint this fault in a matter of maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So nice, simple, easy tests. So you can see all this has already been off. It had been left like that from the dealer. The customer just says leave it. So what we're in here, so we've got 2 power supplies. We've got a red and white tracer, and we've got a red and black tracer. The red and black tracer is fine. So we'll go into the red and black just now and just show you that we've got 12 volts, and if we load test that, which we've already done with the bulb, the 12 volts is fine. So I'll just show you with the bulb, if I possibly can set these up here. So if I set up the bulb, this draws about 5 amps. You can see a bulb lights up brightly. However, if we put it onto our red and white tracer, the bulb is nowhere to be seen on a load test. So we failed a load test on one of the power supplies, which is obviously why our ABS module isn't responding. It's basically offline due to the fact that it's not getting the power. So we're going to go back to the ABS pump fuse. You can see we've got a 40 amp in there. That 40 amps for that power supply. Unfortunately, we can't really get a hold of any diagrams on this because it's can't really get good diagrams for Maseratis well, unfortunately. Try Tela and a few other places. So if we go into the fuse itself, you can see across the fuse we're good. So we know that the power supply, we've got a voltage drop. We've got a voltage drop from here to the ABS pump itself. So what I'm going to show you is, if we go into that tracer again, that red and white tracer, you can see we've got 3.4. Yep, so we've got 3.2 at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just, this has all been left by Maserati, it's not by myself. If I give that wiring a tug, you can see that the power supply goes up to 5 volts. So this wiring loom runs in that channel and then comes round, goes underneath and goes into that box. So we're going to need to find the voltage drop along this cable. We're going to need to find the actual cable, strip it apart and repair it. Don't know how easy it is to access, it doesn't look too bad, but let's do it. So we found the spot where the fault lies. So if we go in here, try and avoid smacking my head on that. If we come to this side, you can see we've got a multimeter set up. So our multimeter's set up. If we move a certain part of the loom, you can see we can get it to drop every time. So it rises, drops, rises and drops. And that is this section down here. It's awkward to get the camera in. So we've managed to find where the voltage drop is. we need to open up that wiring loom and do a repair and get this Maserati back on the road. When you see this, when you start unravelling tape, green crusties, that means that's bad. So, we've found it. If you go down here, you can see all the green crusties sitting in the wiring harness. We've even got a couple of can lines that are corroded away as well, so I don't know if there's been other issues leading up to this. However, we will repair this for the customer, and hopefully the customer will come on camera and give us a run through where the car's been and vice versa, how it happened. But if not, then obviously you've got this. So we will get that repaired and we'll show you a full health scan of the car and the vehicle select and drive. So, moment of truth. Have we fixed this Maserati Ghibli? Is it a Ghibli? Aye, it's a Ghibli, I'm sure. We have buttoned all this back up. You can see it's all OE tape down there, nice and clean. So what we need to do is load test that circuit again and see if our bulb lights up this time. So again, we're going into the red and white tracer. Look at that, we've got full power. So what we're going to do now is plug ABS back in and we'll see if we've got communication and if we can select drive and get out of park. Because that was the original complaint, the vehicle would not go out of park due to loss of comms with the ABS control unit. Now, Maserati had this for months. The ABS unit, Maserati ordered up a ABS unit for it, a new one. They just plugged it in, still no comms, but that just shows you the importance of actually load testing rather than just checking with a multimeter, because like I say, there's a difference between voltage and current. Voltage is obviously the push, current is the flow, so you always need to keep an eye out for that, and that's how success rate is higher, when you know that sort of stuff. Especially with working on cars like these, nobody really works on them. Can't even get any diagrams for them, put it that way. So we've just had to go in a kind of blind sort of moment and go in and just kind of think the pillars and grounds are the main things that we're going to be checking here, because that's what we know. The thick wires are obviously going to be pillars and grounds, and it just so happens that we were missing a pillar. So we'll get all this button back up as much as we can and we'll see if it can select drive. So we've plugged the top down into the car. What we're going to do straight away is just go into electronic stability control, because beforehand we were not able to access that. So if we go into here, hopefully we'll get communication. Is the ignition on? No, it would help if the ignition was actually on. So the ignition's now on. Perfect. We've got communication. There we go, there's all the CAN bus errors. CAN C bus performance, lost communication with park brake, lost communication, instrument cluster. So that's basically telling us that it's lost communication with everything because it's not been online. So I wonder if we can select, we'll try and select park. We'll try and start it, I don't know if the thing starts. So we'll try and select park. That's us in park, that's us in drive. You can see there. Go back into reverse, back into park. We've nailed it. We're going to do a smart scan on it and we'll clear as much fault codes. Obviously I think the customer's got quite a bit disconnected for this, mass airflow sensors and whatnot, so we're better switching it off. But there we go, it's fixed. So we done a full health scan on that car and everything came back pretty much green. We had a few faults for brake level, brake fluid level switches, but the customers had them unplugged and the wipers and that were unplugged as well, so those fault codes wouldn't clear until obviously they're rebuilt. So, but the customer's over the moon. He's going to leave us a good review and he'll probably comment down on this video, no doubt. So thanks for watching. Again, see you next time.